Ben is the opportunist of the family. He's the one who escaped the jungle, right? Okay, he's the
Yes.
one. Yes, he's the one who escaped the jungle. Okay, he's the one actually who becomes successful. If you wanna say he's the one who actually he's the one who attains what or fulfills his dreams. So Ben, however, is a more elusive character. Turkey, could you please read for us, yeah, Turkey? Yes, thank you so much, Al Jabbar.
Yes, doctor, but from where? From the last point about Ben?
Page 149. Okay, Ben, however, is a more elusive character in terms of his symbolism.
Ben, however, is a more elusive character in terms of Willie's
You know the
symbolism.
meaning of elusive, right? Elusive like evasive, yani, right?
Like what?
Elusive means evasive. Okay, someone who uh, um, um, does not give a clear answers. You see the point?
Like opaque. So, wait.
Yes, exactly. Opaque. Yes. Evasive, opaque. Yes. However, is a more elusive character in terms of what is what symbolism here represents. Is going to please.
He represents all that Willie wishes the boys to be. Yet, his action in the past are not firmly established. Willie
Yes, represent,
imagines,
and this is true. By the way, at Turkey, he represents all that Willie wishes the boys to be. Yet his actions in the past are not firmly established. Right? We do not know about the past of Ben. Right?
yes, yes,
Okay, all what we know about Ben, okay, is what we hear from him.
he is successful.
All what we know about Ben is what we hear from his mouth, from him. Okay, he tells us that at the age of 21, right?
No, at the age of 17, maybe.
17, yes, he went into the jungle, and at the age of 21 or 25, I'm not sure. Okay, he comes out rich. That's it.
Yes,
You
21,
see the
yes.
point? You see the point?
Yes,
So
yes.
we do not know much about Ben. We do not know much about Ben actually. Yes, his actions in the past are not firmly established. Willie imagines him all the time, and he may well what exaggerate his memories. You see, he may well exaggerate on his memories. Yes, go on, please.
This is what makes Ben uh, elusive. He is for Willie a symbol of all that is good in the land of opportunity.
Hmm.
The last point about Ben can be linked very closely to the stage direction. And then Miller stated that a director should make it clear to the audience whenever Willie is stepping beyond the bounds of reality.
Yes. So the last point about Ben can be linked very closely to the stage direction, and then Millard states that a director should make it clear to the audience whenever Willie is stepping beyond the bounds of what? Stepping beyond the bounds of reality. Before the house light and apron, curving beyond the fourth stage into the orchestra, this forward area servers. We read this. Okay, we have already read this. Will's imagination breaks the bounds of present. You see, Will's imagination breaks the bounds of present time, break the bounds of reality, break the bounds of what? Present time. So the physical properties on the stage must represent this. The action in the character's minds, and the set correspond to and complement each other. Themes. Let us read something about the themes. Did we read anything about the themes, students? I think we have already read about the great country, right? Am I right? Do you remember, students, or did you forget just like me? I think we have already said enough. By the way, we have already said enough about this display. We will just read something from here or there. Okay. Uh, how about we read about middle classes and money from page 150? Az-Zahran, yes, yeah, Zahran, read for us.
inshallah. During the time the play was written, the middle class had suffered a decline. The real value of their money had dwindled. They were struggling to make enough money to maintain their former standard of living. Now,
Yes,
Willie,
during the time the play was written, the middle classes had suffered a decline. Talking about what? The time after World War II, right? Talking about the time after World War II, right? During the time the play was written, the middle classes had suffered a decline. The real value of their money had what? Dwindled. The value of their money had what? Dwindled. You know the meaning of dwindled, right? Dwindled means decreased, right? They were struggling to make enough money to maintain their former standard of living. And this is true, by the way. Historically speaking, this is true. People were struggling to maintain their former standard of what? Of living, of life. The value of money had decreased, right? had dwindled. يعني اذا معك $1000 بامكانك تشتري فيهن فيلا بعد الحرب صار ال $100 يشتروا لك حبتين سنيكرز، اوكي؟ واحد بنكهه الفانيلا وواحد بالشوكولاته، رايت؟ ولا لا يا الزهراني؟
صحيح يا دكتور.
يس اوكي. So
now
the real value of the had when they were struggling to maintain enough, you see, to make enough money to maintain their former standard of living. Now, Willie seems to be what? To be a
Willie,
typical case. Just go on, please.
Willie seems to be a typical case, as he too feels the financial pressures, feels obliged to keep up the pretense of successful bourgeois existence.
Yes.
We know.
So now Willie seems to be a typical case. Now Willie seems to be a typical case as he too feels these financial pressures. He seems to be a typical case as he too feels these financial pressures. Feels obliged, okay, feels obliged to keep up, you see, to keep up the pretense of a successful bourgeois existence. bourgeois يعني ايش bourgeois؟ bourgeoisie يعني شخص
Yes.
bourgeoisie. Okay. Yes. So feels obliged to keep up the pretense of a successful bourgeois existence. And this is true. Fake existence, right?
Yes.
Okay. So borrowing money from his neighbor and pretending طبعا that this is his pay. So he wants to maintain actually the former standard of living. He talked about Dave Singelman, right? He talked about Dave Singelman. But actually, it was not because Dave Singelman was smart enough that he lived comfortable life, let's say. That he had comfortable life. It was not because Dave Singelman was smart enough. Not at all. If Dave Singelman actually lived at the time of Willie, he would be just like Willie. He would be a copy of Willie. The American society has already acquired a new set of values. Things have already changed. There is no place for what? For personal relationships. You need to struggle and to work hard to stay alive, not to succeed حتى. Yes.
Uh, we know from his early conversation with Linda that Willie is continually in financial difficulties. He borrows from Charlie to pay his life assurance, pretending to Linda that he has earned it from the job. When
Yes, we know
Howard,
from early conversations with Linda that Willie is continually in financial what difficulties. He borrows from Charlie to pay his life insurance, pretending to Linda that he has earned it from the job, from his work. When Howard Wagner is going to please,
when Howard Wagner shows Willie his new tab recorder, he is impressed and asserts, "I am definitely going to get one because they are only 100 and half." We know very well that Willie cannot possibly afford one,
هاي
but he has to
الزهراني
keep it.
طيب الزهراني. When Howard
Yes,
Wagner shows Willie his new tape recorder, طبعا لما نتكلم عن الميد 20th century تيب ريكورد هذاك الوقت يعني كان زي سيارة اللامبرجيني في وقتنا هذا. اوكي فيا الزهراني انت لما تشوف مع صاحبك على سبيل المثال النعمي ها سياره
صحيح.
لامبرجيني وانت تكون في جيبتك ما فيش بجيبتك ولا ريال اوكي تشتري كرك اوكي الكرك كم سعر الكرك الزهراني
3 ريال دكتور يعني
3 ريال يعني لما يكون
آه،
بجيبتك 3 ريال تشتري كرك بس بيساعدوك تشتري كرك وتشوف فاهم علي مع النعمي فاهم علي سياره لامبرجيني وتصير تقول له انا بكره بدي اشتري لامبرجيني ها واضح
صحيح.
بس انا باجلها عشان تنزل الموديل الجديد اوكي so when Howard Wagner shows Willie his new tape recorder he's impressed okay and asserts I'm definitely going to get one because they are only 100 you see because they are only 100 and a half we know very well that Willie cannot possibly what afford one but he has to keep up you see he has to keep up the pretense of being able to acquire material goods. He has to keep up the pretense of being able to acquire material goods. Willie has declined, and this is true. He has declined, but cannot face up to this in public. He cannot face up to this in public. Yes, go on, please.
He presents a face because the source of things he wants are those which the successful businessman is supposed to possess. Again, the pressure is to be successful, and success can be measured in material goods. At least in the society that Miller is presenting to us, uh, riches and success are ins- inseparable for Willie. This is one of
Okay.
the
So he
reasons.
presents Willie has declined but cannot face up to this in public. He presents a facade. A facade it means a deceptive appearance. Deceptive appearance. The sort because the sort of things he wants are those which are the successful businessman actually is supposed to possess. Again, the pressure is to be successful, and success can be measured in material goods. Your worth, in other words, the amount of money that you acquire. Your worth, the material goods that you have. So again, the pressure is to be successful, and success can be measured in material goods. At least in the society that Miller is presenting what to us. Riches and success are inseparable. What riches and success are inseparable for Willie. This is one of yes, go on, please.
This is one of the reasons why he cannot understand Biff, who seems to have no interest in making money. Wally doesn't see that there may be other values, one which cannot one ones which although not financially beneficial, are more suited to the individuals in which they can be characters in the open air. Willie insists on keeping up appearance and refusing the face reality.
Yes, so Willie does not see what there may be other values, ones which, although not financially beneficial, are more suited to the individuals concerned. Biff sees that the Lomans belong somewhere else. Okay, Biff sees that the Lomans belong somewhere else, and this is true, by the way. A society in which they can be carpenters in the open air, in the open air, not businessmen actually, carpenters. Willie insists on keeping up appearances and refusing to face what? Refusing to face reality. Okay, yes, thank you so much, Zahrani. Let us read something about the fake life and reality. The fake life and reality. Salih al Muhsin, could you please read for us? صالح المحسن موجود معنا؟ اوكي، في حد ما قرأ معنا إلى الآن وحاب يقرأ أو يشارك معنا؟
Yes.
الشهري ما شاركت معنا الشهري؟
لا.
Yes, يا الشهري, read for us. The fake life and reality.
Yes. Willie wants to see himself as a successful businessman, a man for whom everyone will have respect. And because of this, when he dies, he will have a grand funeral. He
Yes,
wants,
you see,
and even
Willie wants to see himself as a successful businessman, you see, a man for whom everyone will have respect. And because of this, when he dies, he will have what? A grand funeral, a great funeral. He wants and even anticipates. Yes, go on, please.
he wants and even anticipates a funeral like Dave Singelman, a man who had hundreds of salesmen and buyers at his funeral. That
Yes.
was the real death of a salesman for Willie.
Yes, that was the real death of a salesman for Willie. That was the real death of a salesman actually for Willie. But those days are now what? Are now gone, يا شهري, right ولا لا? As I have just said, it was not because actually Dave Singelman was smart enough that he lived comfortable life. That he lived comfortable life. This is the point. This is the point. Okay. But those days are now gone, and you see, a different set of values are what? Are apparent. Yes, yes, Shahri, go on, please.
The reality is, as Willie admits, that they seem to laugh at me. The old need to have personally which made for success in the world of business seems to have disappeared. Reality is in the apartment block. The depths and Willie's constant refusal to recognize city life for what it is. Biff tells Willie that he is a fake, never speaking the truth. He means that the Romans are out of place in city life, but his basic aim to try that the Roman are to shock Willie into some self-knowledge. Willie is not aware of the
Falsity of his existence, yes. Okay, yes, reality is in the apartment block. The debts and Willie's constant refusal to recognize city life for what it is. Biff tells Willie that he is what? A fake, never speaking the truth. He means that the Lomans are what? Are out of place in city life. But his basic aim is to try to shock Willie into some self-knowledge. Willie is not aware of the falsity of his existence, as Biff says. Okay, you blew me so full of hot air, I never could stand taking orders from anybody. Okay, Biff has been deceived by Willie into assuming a grander what status than he actually deserves. اوكي، لما يكون عندك اخوك صغير على سبيل المثال بالمدرسه والمعلم يقول لك والله اخوك ما بذاكرش مش شاطر، اوكي، وانت تقول له ترى اخوي اشطر واحد بالصف. You see the point? You are blowing him actually full of hot air, okay, giving him more than what he deserves. He has filled him with you see, he has filled him with a pride, making it all the more difficult for Biff to realize that I am a dime a dozen, and so are you. Even after Biff's what outburst, Willie still fails to understand. Why is he crying? He asks Linda. All Biff can do is to reply, will you take that phony, that fake dream yani, and burn it before something happens? To which Willie replies, isn't that remarkable? Biff, he likes me. Willie still lives in a world revolving around Biff, a world of success, a world that the Lomans simply do not inhabit. Willie has insisted on carrying out his fake existence to the end. This trait is continued to some extent in Happy, who believes that he will show everybody that Willie Loman did not die in vain. We know that Happy cannot do this. He will never be a great businessman either. Willie dies not knowing who he was, still believing in one dream of success in what in the great land. Yes, thank you so much, Ashari. Okay, wants to continue reading for us. Yazid Al-Malik, could you please read for us, Ya Yazid?
يس. رومير دكتور.
وين سرحان يا يزيد؟
والله سرحان شايل
والله
هم.
انا عارف يا يزيد، ترى بجوز انا الوحيد ترى اللي بتكلم فيكم، انتم كلكم سرحانين.
لا
مين فيكم مش سرحان؟
لا الشباب مركزين ما عليك.
لا معك يا دكتور مركزين.
لا
آه
معك
دكتور.
التركي
مركزين
والزهراني.
معك بس يا دكتور.
اوكي، يعني بس ما هو انت مركز يا التركي مش الجميع. التركي والنعمي والزهراني مركزين بس، والباقي كله سرحان.
مركزين بعد حتى احنا يا دكتور.
اوكي المالكي، ليش سرحان؟ طيب قلت لي يا المالكي.
والله ما اشياء واجد يا دكتور.
طيب سولف لنا، شو وين وصلت احلامك؟ اذا شوف احلامك زي احلام وليد ولا مختلفه؟ What are you dreaming of يا زيد المالكي؟ سولف لنا.
قاعد اتخيل الاختبارات يا دكتور، كيف اذاكر وانظم وقتي.
اها
بالضبط.
يعني سرحان بالاختبارات؟
ايه بالضبط.
وشو طلع معك النتيجه؟
اني بذاكر ان شاء الله.
انك راح تذاكر. واسهل اختبار شلون طلع معك؟
ها؟
اسهل اختبار اي اختبار كان اسهل واحد؟
الحمد لله كلها كويسة، يعني ما في شيء سهل مرة وما في شيء صعب مرة.
يعني الان بعد ما انت اخذت الاختبارات الان في هذه الفتره اللي كنت انت تتخيل فيها، تخيلت انك كملت الاختبارات وانك جبت اعلى درجه، صح ولا انا غلطان؟
صحيح، جبت في المارك.
يا عين عليك يا عين عليك. اسهل اختبار كان مسرحيه ولا
الشعر
ثاني؟ الشعر كان اسهل اختبار.
إيه. بخيالي بس.
Yes, I know. You are ironic, I know. ما شاء الله عنك يا المالكي. We are reading from page 152 يا المالكي, the very beginning.
Okay. Beth's view of Willie as a fake stems, of course, from the shock he received on finding out about Willie's affair with the women.
Yes, we know that, by the way. We know that. So Beth's view of Willie as a fake stems, of course, from the shock he received on finding out about Willie's affair with the woman. This was, yes, go on, please. And by the way, Al Maliki, this is the moment, as we said earlier, this is the moment actually when Biff loses actually the emotional support of his father. Yes, this was, and this is the moment when Biff starts calling Willie phony. Yes, this was the first time he used the word fake, and it appears to have been on his mind ever since. It appears to have been on his mind ever since. Just go on, please.
Now the context of the belief changes. Biff comes to regard the whole of the Roman way of life as false. It is though this one event has made Biff realize that the Roman family, under the influence of Willie, has been living under false pretenses. He looks around and sees the ordinaries of their existence, their mundane jobs, and their impossibility that they could ever rise above what they are.
Yes, so now the context of this belief changes. Biff becomes to regard the whole of the Roman way of life as false. It is as though this one event has made Biff realize that the Roman family, under the influence of Willie, has been living under false pretenses. He looks around and sees the ordinariness of their existence, their mundane, their ordinary jobs, and the impossibility that they could ever rise above what they are. And this is true. Okay, this is true. Okay, they could ever rise above what they are. Biff's reaction is extreme. He abandons, yes.
He abandons his school career, his games, and ended any ambition he had formerly. He has been pushed into this psychologically in order to try to find where the real Romans belong, insisting that he avoids the false existence and abandoning all associations with his past life.
Yes, thank you so much يا المالكي. الآن إذا بدك ترجع تكمل أحلامك، تكمل اختباراتك عفوا.
لا بركز
أوكي.
معك دكتور علي.
أوكي. أوكي. He has been. ترى أنت أول واحد بكمل اختبارات يا المالكي. يعني أنت ما شاء الله يعني كملت الاختبارات بدري.
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله. Okay. So he has been pushed into this psychologically actually in order to try to find where the real Romans actually belong, insisting that he avoids the false existence and abandoning all associations with his past life. Yes. Any questions? If you have any questions, I think we have already said enough about this play. If you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions about this play. تريكي طبعا موجود معنا عندنا. حداد اليوم مش موجود معنا. المرعي موجود. النعمي موجود. الشهري موجود. صالح المحسن موجود. التركي موجود. الجبر موجود. العيسى مش موجود. العيسى شو قصة العيسى؟ اوكي. مشاري الزهراني موجود.